Many people love to be in their own element when they're alone, which can lead to the exhibition of weird behaviors as they believe no one's watching them. Sadly, while these people have the time of their lives thinking they're in private, cameras are sometimes present in the area looking at all their weird moves. And now we've gathered some of these moments for you to see. Join us as we explore 15 times they didn't know a camera was watching them. Number 15. Cops thought they were alone in elevator, didn't know hidden cameras recording his every move. The life of a police officer looks pretty stressful, judging from the day-to-day activities and the risks that are involved. This can sometimes make these law enforcement agents tired and mentally stressed from their jobs. Fortunately, some know the best way to unwind and release stress. One of these officers is Tony Sherb. Tony Sherb was a deputy police officer that served in the El Paso County Police Force in Colorado Springs for 29 years. He was known as straight-laced, no-nonsense, dedicated to his duties. Having served the police department with full commitment to his job and rising up the ranks all the way to being a deputy, he was known as an iconic police officer with his peers. Well, there's always an end to everything, whether we like it or not, so the time came for Deputy Sherb to retire. It was his last week on the job, and Deputy Sherb decided it was time to go home after being stressed from the day's work. He got into the elevator and began riding his way out of the office, but unknown to the rest of the officers, Deputy Sherb had a specific ritual he always performed while in the elevator. Fortunately, the whole office got to know that week he was going to retire. A week earlier, the station's elevator was modernized by engineers, which meant a camera came along with the elevator's improvements. But the middle-aged Deputy Sherb had no idea about the update. Deputy Sherb got in the elevator just like anyone and brought out his phone to check and reply to a few messages. Or so we all thought. Deputy Sherb put on a hit rap song by Silento and started moving his body to the rhythm. This was one unexpected situation no one thought they'd see or experience from this no-nonsense officer. A few minutes into his dancing, he noticed someone wanted to join him in the elevator, so that made him straighten out a little bit, keeping a straight face while the other police officer walked in. Unfortunately for Deputy Sherb, it was too late to disconnect the song from the speakers, so they kept playing. Well, he got lucky as the other police officer who joined him passed the vibe check and started dancing. They danced until another police officer joined them, and he seemed to get bit by the boogie as they all started dancing together. Then suddenly the sheriff of the police department stepped into the elevator. The sheriff had seen them dance vigorously on camera and came in to join the party. But as they pretended not to dance, he followed suit until he couldn't hold it anymore and started dancing himself. Now all four officers, including Deputy Sherb, who started the dance party, wiggled their bodies to Silento's hit song, Whippin' Nay Nay. How hilarious. Number 14. Intelligent bear exploring Jeep. We know bears are fascinating, although sometimes also ferocious. Some of them are hilarious when we see footage of bears invading people's homes, searching for food or dumpsters that they can rummage around in. A similar situation was discovered in this video, but this particular bear took it up a notch. Have you seen a bear open up a car before? Well, here you go. The bear must have been hungry, or maybe she's just a desperate mother who needs to feed her crying cub. As the footage shows, the mother bear and her cub showed up where a black Jeep was parked, and she went to open up the car's doors. After gaining entrance to the car, she finally found food for her cub to share. But could it be that the mother bear really had a sharp sense of smell? Or are bears starting to become as smart as humans? We can't say for sure, but at least this one's not hungry anymore. Number 13. Guy kissing car. Imagine driving on a regular day, and the next thing you see is someone coming closer to kiss your car. That would be pretty weird. Well, this driver was left in shock when he was driving along the road and saw two people about to cross ahead of him. As a responsible driver, he pressed on the brakes for the pedestrians to pass, only for one of them to walk back to the driver, stand in front of his car, right in the middle of the road, and kiss the car's bonnet. Rate this on a weirdness scale of 1 to 10. 10 is really weird, 1 is not very weird. His friend immediately observed his walking partner diverted his attention, so he quickly went to pick his friend up and pull him off the road. By the way, the guy who kissed the car just stood there and kept lifting his hands up while the dash cam captured the whole thing. Maybe he was having a bad day? Who knows? Speaking of bad days, here's footage of a guy walking home with a pizza box. He must have been relishing several ways to devour the delicious pizza once he got home, but all that ended when a fierce wind blew and the pizza box just fell out of his hands. The pizza ended up on the floor face down, and its contents spilled onto the walkway. The guy stood there confused, not knowing what to do until he finally walked away. A few hours later, a guy was captured riding across the same walkway when he spotted the spilled pizza on the ground. He stopped and looked around, and after seeing the pizza's condition, he decided it was still good enough for him to eat, so he took a bite and went on his way. Perhaps the pizza didn't go to waste after all. Number 12. Lord of the Dogs. These are events that you're lucky to see once in a lifetime. A street camera captured a guy and some dogs while taking an evening stroll. It seemed like he was communicating with the dogs, but unfortunately for him, the pack of dogs didn't seem to appreciate his presence in the area, so they trailed behind him. The guy was fully aware of the dogs behind him, but he was scared. Rather, he did the most unbelievable thing that you would not expect. A few seconds later, the young man turned into a flash, stomping the ground towards the dogs and scaring them away. The dogs who once gathered with the intention of picking on the young guy became scared and moved quickly away. Having discovered the effect that he had on these dogs, he repeated it once again to scare the heck out of them. That worked pretty well. The dogs scampered away in fear, leaving the guy confident in himself as a dog master. Number 11. Woman playing with dog. Sometimes, when you're alone, it's easy to get bored. As a result, you might have to do stuff that you wouldn't normally do, like this woman did with her dog. She stayed alone in the office, and she probably got bored with work and started to use her dog as a reindeer. The dog also loved the fun, and it kept pulling her to several locations on the room while she was on the office chair, gliding around. They must have had a really great time. While this dog and her owner had the best time, another dog in a different location was hilariously getting on a storekeeper's nerves. This dog casually walks into the store to grab a bar of chocolate, but before the storekeeper found out, it was too late. The storekeeper tried to chase the dog in a bid to snatch his store's property back, but the dog was faster than he was. It hurried out of the store and ran right across the street. The dog better not show up again. Number 10. Man behaving like a child. In a store, a man and his wife had just purchased groceries and were on their way out when the man decided to do something really weird. No one expected him to do this, not even his wife, as she didn't get the memo quick enough to observe what her husband intended to do. As she wheeled their cart of groceries out of the store, the man walking right behind her had a change of plans and decided to exit the store in the most iconic way. As he was about to walk out of the grocery store, he turned over to his arms and walked out using his arms. This happened so suddenly that it kind of shocked people in the store, to the point that even a young girl kept staring at the old guy as he walked out of the store with his bare hands. Well, we can't blame the man for wanting to relive his young days, as whether we like it or not, there's still a kid in everybody. This fact was also demonstrated by the man jogging down the road. This man was jogging down the road like he needed to get home quick, but suddenly he did the strangest thing and it attracted the attention of everyone around him. As he jogged, he suddenly rolled over the walkway like he was in a Tom Cruise movie before getting up and walking away from the camera sight. Number 9. Real-life superhero. We humans sometimes have real-life superheroes amongst us, although most of us aren't always ready to admit it. Well, this camera footage is about to prove that there are actual humans who get the Spidey sense, just like Spider-Man. This footage shows how a guy who was busy in a store suddenly got up and ran to stop a glass door from falling down. Someone would have gotten hurt if this real-life superhero didn't get up to save that glass from falling. If that doesn't convince you, here's another piece of footage of a real-life superhero that saved a dog from falling from the sky. Before the moment when the dog fell, he never looked up until the last second before he saw the dog and hurriedly saved him from being crashed into the ground and making a pancake out of himself. Did you see the man that lifted his car by himself and shifted his position? This guy had no choice but to reveal his super strength when he saw that his car had been parked in a really tight spot, which was now blocked by other cars, and he couldn't leave the area. Instead of getting upset or trying to think about how his phone would be removed from the tight spot, he carried and pushed the car out of the parking lot's line to a level where it was okay to drive out and just leave the area. The driver did all this in front of two bystanders who had wide open mouths because they were watching a man move a car all by himself. See? Real-life superheroes. Number 8. Annoying man crossing road. While some people are good, hilarious, and funny, some can be petty and unbelievable, and one perfect example is this man, who was captured by a driver's dashcam. The driver was driving along the road when it came to a pedestrian crossing. As it made its way towards the pedestrian crossing, a man was about to cross when he noticed the driver. The driver also noticed him and offered to step on the brakes and let him cross. However, the old man then changed his behavior and walking steps as he began to take very few steps, delaying the driver on purpose as he crossed the road. What kind of man could this be? Well done to the driver for his patience, though. Number 7. Calling bear. Bears might be smarter than we think. Not only are they smarter, but they're also more hilarious. A visit to the zoo included a vlog, and when they got to the bear section, the visitors focused on only one bear. Well, that wasn't the only bear in the park, so other bears are bound to get jealous. The jealousy didn't set in until the visitors started to give the bear treats. Then the other bear was ignored and did not like that. When the other bear decided, okay, that's enough, I've had it, it got up on 2 feet and called to the visitors, waving his hand frantically and directing them his way. This is both shocking and pretty cool at the same time. I'm certain that they enjoyed it. The zoo might be fun and interesting, but a safari trip is different. This footage shows how a fully grown giraffe was chasing a safari truck like its life depended on it, while the truck drove away as fast as possible. What could have happened if it caught up with the safari truck? We don't think we want to know, so it's good that they got out of there as fast as possible. But when you think about it, who knows what the giraffe really wanted? Maybe it was just trying to hitch a ride back to the city? In recent footage, a man was waiting to get on board a train. When the train arrived and its doors opened, he was glad and happy to see that it finally got there, but the train's arrival gave him the shock of his life. As he was about to step inside the train, he froze in his tracks, turned towards the other side almost immediately, and ran away from the train station as fast as he could. It seemed like the leopard was also frightened as it ran towards the other side when it got off the train. Number 6. Man fixes car body by himself. This footage is pretty unique and hilarious. It started off looking like a regular day on the street with clear skies and a good day about to start. But all of that changed with the arrival of a car. This car looked so rough, you'd have thought it was being towed. Then a man came out to examine the damaged body and did the most shocking thing ever. This man got out of the car, examined the damage, and then started to fix it with his legs. He stomped on it to straighten it until the car's damaged body improved, and then finally he drove off. Number 5. Rebellious reel and truck driver. In this footage, all the truck driver had to do was not drop the truck reel, but guess what? He dropped it. The reel rebelled from the truck driver, which led to a hot pursuit between man and object. He tried several times to bring the reel to a stop, but he couldn't, and that just meant more trouble. This was because the reel was rolling at a high speed on the highway, with other cars on the same road. In fact, it nearly hit a car, only for it to keep rolling down, going on a head-on collision with another car at a very high speed. Thankfully, the car's driver noticed the incoming reel from a distance, and that made him reverse his car out of the way really fast. Aside from truck reels being rebellious, machines also are rebellious too. Here's CCTV footage of the bike that became a rebel and just stopped following its rider's instructions. The rider intended to start up his bike and travel to the next destination, but the bike decided to act otherwise, going around in circles. And it kept doing it like that until other people helped the rider stop the bike and turn it off. Number 4. Guard pretending to tackle imaginary bad guy. When you're on the job, boredom is one thing that comes all the time, which is why this security guy's moment is completely understandable. As a security guard with no action, you'd start to look into other activities that are good enough to keep you busy. And in the event of none, you might just do anything available. This footage captured a security guard on duty as he became a ventriloquist on the job, just trying to keep himself active and awake. The security guard got very interested in his little play. He treated his stagehand as the bad guy and squeezed his wrist like he just overpowered the bad guy and put him to sleep. However, his play didn't last forever as he had work in other locations to survey the perimeter. Even towards the end of the footage, you can see him move around from one location to another effortlessly. Number 3. Worker dancing in a coffee shop. When you've had an intense day of serving customers, the chances of getting stressed are very high, which would require some time to cool off. But sometimes a stressed worker can't let off steam while there's orders to fulfill and customers to attend to, which means the best time to relax is after work or when there's no customers. That's what happened when this girl was dancing in a coffee shop. It seemed like the coffee shop was almost closed for the day, and she was cleaning the shop in preparation for more customers or another business day. But as she took the mop to the floors, she also set her feet to the tune of pop music, blasting from the speakers. From her moves, you might say she's a great dancer. As they say, dancing comes from the soul before being blended into the body, and you can see that when you watch her and she suddenly drops the mop and delivers the dance of a lifetime. The whole time she was dancing, you might have thought her boss wasn't at the store. He wasn't, but he was right around the corner about to enter the store. Upon entering, he saw his employee having the time of her life, but didn't make a sound till she turned around while dancing and saw him. That might have been a surprising or embarrassing moment for her, but I'm sure she let off some steam with her dance skills, and her boss looks pretty impressed too. Number 2. Animals hide and seek. When hungry, flesh-eating animals can do almost anything to get their meal. Bobcats don't pop up too much as flesh-eating animal hunters, but we do finally have footage of how they get their meals. This footage shows a bobcat and squirrel scampering around a tree. The bobcat wants to have the squirrel for lunch, and the squirrel just doesn't want to die. This led them to a game of hide and seek as they rolled around the tree several times. Sadly, we weren't able to find out who won the battle. Number 1. Dancing bear. Have you ever seen a bear on its hind legs in the bush? Yeah, it's called bear dancing. The trail cam footage got a clip of a bear as it rubbed its back against several trees while swaying and positioning itself satisfactorily on each tree. However, there might be other cases to the story. The footage shows the bear dancing, but other factors propose that they sometimes communicate by scent marking trees. Other times they're removing hair and scratching a hard-to-reach itch. We can't say for sure, but the bear dance does not happen with every animal, so we're happy we got to see this bear doing it. That's all for us for now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for listening.